Welcome to English News of Đồng Nai Radio and Television Station. Towards the election of the National Assembly, members term 14, People's Council at all levels for the 2016-2021 period, with the aim of not to let the temporary residents lose the right to vote, this day, the police of Hiệp Phước Commune Nhơn Trạch district has come to each boarding houses to list the voters. On Sunday, many workers living in the boarding houses in Hiệp Phước Commune came to the Communal People's Committee to prop the voters list. Who has lived over 10 years in Hiệp Phước Commune, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Đến from An Giang Province, where is the boarding commune with the industrial zone helped 12,000 voters temporarily residing out of 27,000 voters, is very happy to see her name in the voter list. Hiệp Phước Commune Police has expeditiously to every boarding house to check the list and propaganda so that people understand and fully participate in the election. At the same time, the commune has listed the list of voters, held 28 polling stations, implemented the consultative conference to introduce 56 candidates and elect 35 members of Communal People's Council, term 2016-2021. Hiệp Phước Commune Nhơn Trạch district has more than 1,000 boarding houses and many new residential areas such as 9-story residential areas, Formosa Company, social housing in Nhơn Trạch district, so the population is fluctuated each day. To implement the electoral law, Hiệp Phước Commune actively crafts the list of temporary residents for the ultimate aim of promoting people's right to vote for the members of National Assembly and People's Council at all levels. According to the latest figures from the General Department of Customs, from the beginning of the year to April the 15th, Vietnam has exported footwear which is worth nearly 3.26 million US dollar, an increase of 252 million US dollar, equivalent to an increase of 8.4% over the same period last year. Earlier in March, the export of footwear reached more than 918 million USD, up 43.1% from the previous month, bringing the total export turnover in the first quarter of 2016 of this group to nearly 2.79 billion US dollar, up 9.6% from the same period in 2015. Vietnam's footwear mostly export to the US market, reaching over 945 million USD in the first quarter, accounting for 33.9% of the total export of the country's footwear. Japan market ranked second in turnover with over 193 million USD, accounting for 6.9%, followed by China market with nearly 191 million USD, accounted for 6.8%. Overall, footwear export in the first quarter of this year to the majority of the markets has grown in turnover the same period last year, including strong export growth in some markets such as Ukraine, France, Russia, Argentina. However, exports fell sharply in some markets such as Brazil, Hungary, and to Spain. World News. Speaking at the Forum of Association of Southeast Asian Nations in Jakarta, Indonesia, on April the 25th, former Asian Secretary General Mr. Ong Kong-yong has criticized Cambodia and Laos recently reached agreement with China on how to resolve the dispute in the East Sea. Former Asian Secretary General Ong Kong-yong said that China reaching agreement with Cambodia and Laos was surprising because the two countries are not countries over the disputed sovereignty in the East Sea, while the four Asian countries in dispute with China are Vietnam, Brunei, Malaysia, and the Philippines. According to Mr. Kong-yong, Laos and Cambodia too interfere in the internal affairs of Asia. Mr. Kong-yong criticized came after Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on April the 23rd announced that China has reached four-point agreement with Brunei, Cambodia, and Laos in the East Sea, whereby the four countries agree that the dispute in the East Sea in general is not an issue between China and Asia, and the territorial dispute should be resolved through bilateral negotiations. On April the 25th, in Hanover, Germany, leaders of 5 countries including Germany, the US, Britain, France and Italy met. Ending the meeting, German Chancellor Angela Merkel stressed that the meeting in accordance with the Model G5 contribute to solving the global changes. Chancellor Merkel meets with the leaders of the G5, who are the President Barack Obama, French President François Hollande, British Prime Minister David Cameron, and Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi. Ms. Merkel evaluated that Model G5 is a forum for countries in group to discuss, exchange opinions on the major challenges related to foreign policy, whereby act together. According to her, European countries want to promote close cooperation between the two sides of the Atlantic in order to jointly address the pressing issue of global security policy. In previous bilateral meeting with US President Obama, Chancellor Merkel insisted that they can only ensure security in the world, win the war against terrorism, and resolve the causes of migration crisis by the joint efforts of the two sides of the Atlantic. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye and see you tomorrow.